Good evening, Matt. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Yeah, good. Buzzing with our first win of the season. 100% record in the Premier League. Easy, isn't it, this?
Yeah, just need another 37 points and it's job done, isn't it? Move on to the next season.
3 down,
Um,
37 to go. It's not a bad way of looking at it, actually.
it was. I thought it was a fairly. It was a decent performance to start with. I think Villa did enough, didn't they, over the course of it? Probably
Yeah.
wasn't enough to please Alan Smith.
What is it with us and having to talk about commentators being weird about Aston Villa games? He was destined, well, like, whatever the word is, he really wanted them to score, didn't he? Just so he could go, oh, see, Villa have got a habit of conceding late goals. I told you.
Are we being hypersensitive? Does every club's kind of fan base think that they're being picked on or what? Because to
Yeah,
me,
probably.
we won't dwell on Alan Smith for too long. There's other things to discuss. But for me, every half reasonable thing that Sheffield United did was built up into the world's greatest achievement. Whereas anything Villa did, they should have done it anyway. You know, almost when Ramsdale picked the ball out of the net, I thought he was going to praise that for how well he picked the ball out of the net. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on.
Yes. What do you think of the game? I've seen a bit of discourse on Twitter that some people think we did enough and it was fine and okay, and some people think it's a bit of a worrying or concerning performance that we weren't amazing. But I kind of feel it's a little bit in the middle, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we bettered last season's result, didn't we? So if you do that every week, you know.
Yeah, how long did it take us to get our first win of the season last year? My memory's terrible. I should know this, really.
Was it Everton on that balmy Friday?
Yeah, what was that, the third game?
Yeah,
Tottenham,
possibly.
Bournemouth, Everton. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Was it after that? Was it? I can't remember anyway. But yeah, I thought it was fine. To be honest, kept a clean sheet, saved a penalty, and found a way to score the other end. I thought it was as much as you could hope for, really. Against a team that took 4 points off Villa last season, finished a lot higher up the table than them. I don't think you can grumble, really. I think that I think the pressure was on as soon as the sending off occurred, because it was Sheffield United, probably the best that they could do was contain and then try and spring Villa on the break. So to keep plugging away against, as Alan Smith would remind you, a very resolute and well-drilled Sheffield United team, I think Villa did enough and bank the points, move on to the next one.
Yeah, I'll put something to you, see if you agree or disagree. It kind of felt to me a little bit like the last game of pre-season. I think I might have said that after the Burton Albion game as well, but it felt like, right, that's it. All the first team have played together now for a full game. Now we start to click into gear. We just about did enough tonight.
Yeah, but what does click into gear mean? Because they won the game.
Yeah, I know that, but it wasn't okay. Well, maybe that's the point then. Yes, we won the game, and that's the main thing. But we didn't play well, though, did we?
We played terribly, did we?
No, but that means there's room for improvement then.
You're normally trying to make me the negative one. What's happened?
No. Let's get it straight. I'm not being negative. Yes, the 3 points is massive, and starting the season with a win is important. And I said before the game in the live stream that we did then, I'd have been happy with a point as long as you go and beat Fulham. I now want us to go and get 6 points from the first two, and I think that is possible. Obviously, it's important, but we didn't play. Jack Grealish didn't have a great game. John McGinn didn't do a lot. Ollie Watkins didn't really do much. So there's room for improvement there. It was against 10 men as well, don't forget, for 80 minutes. So we could have blown them away, really, if we were in gear.
I thought Grealish played all right, to be honest. I thought his finishing wasn't quite at it. McGinn was a little bit anonymous for me. I think we're still seeing the post-lockdown McGinn rather than the whatever it was, the promotion winning season McGinn, or the first couple of months of last season McGinn. Although he did use his backside to good effect.
That was his best contribution, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, final stages, yeah. I thought I must have not watched a different game, but I saw plenty of positives in it. I saw a clean sheet for a defence that's got a new right back and a new goalkeeper. It's got a centre half who seemed to do his hammy in the warm up at the start of the second half and actually seemed to make him better in the second half. I thought Watkins was okay. I thought he was okay. He's obviously he's been involved in the decisive moment, hasn't he? That's led to the sending off. What did you make of the sending off?
Again, an interesting one. On Twitter, I tweeted it out saying foul, yes, red card, no. And half the people replied saying goal scoring opportunity, definite red, and half of them saying, oh, that's a little bit harsh. I think if that was a Villa player, I'd have been going, come on, surely a yellow card there. There's no proof that Watkins would have got to it. Is it really a goal scoring opportunity?
He would have got to it, wouldn't he? He would have got to it.
I don't know. I thought it was harsh. I'm not complaining. Don't care at all. It changed the game, didn't it? I don't think we'd have won if it was 11 against 11. But we played. My point is, I know you're saying being negative. I'm not being negative. I think it's a solid 6 out of 10 game from everybody. Really, nobody really stood out. No one was terrible. I think you've played 80 minutes there against 10 men at home. Yes, 1-0's fine, but they've had a penalty. Apart from a great save from Martinez, that could have been a 1-1 game. I don't know. I feel like later down in the season, when all the new players have gelled a little bit more, that should have been a game that you win 2 or 3-0. I think that's my only thing. That's not being negative.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I know what you like. You know, you're trying to kind of curb my excitement, aren't you? You want me to stop before I get my Martinez tattoo on my buttocks.
I'm glad that you disagree. I'm interested in what the comments say. Again, there's so many coming through. It's hard to keep up with what people think. I'll tell you what. Here's a challenge to the comments. If you thought it was good enough but could be better, type 1 in the comments. And if you thought we were good and nothing to be concerned about, type 2. And then I'll get a quick gauge of what people think. But yeah, I'm happy. Of course, I'm happy. But again, I think it could have been better.
If you think Villa are going to win the league, type 3. And dial 999.
Yeah, some people will type that. The only problem is now people are typing in 1, and I can't remember what I said 1 was.
I think 1 was yours. Agree with you. 2 was agree with me.
Okay, there's a lot of 1s then. So a lot of people do think that yes, it's fine that we won, but we could be better. I think our standards are higher than yours.
It's not. I'd vote 1 if I could work out how to go on Facebook Live at the same time as talking, because they can do better, but we'll play better than that and lose.
Yeah,
this season. So I think, I think as an introduction back to the Premier League, I'm gladly, I was satisfied with it. So there you go.
Yeah, as was I. There's a few 3s coming in now, so win the league. Here we come. What did you think of that red card then? Do you think it was definite red?
Again, I've probably got my claret and blue tinted spectacles on for this one, but I thought he was going to get the ball. I think he'd have got the ball first, ahead of the goalkeeper, if he hadn't have been impeded. Now, whether he would have still scored from there, he'd have probably had to round the goalkeeper, go at quite an angle, or if he'd have slotted the goalkeeper, there might have been another defender who was covering round the back. So I'm not convinced it was a cut and dry goal scoring opportunity, but I am convinced that he would have got to the ball first. I found the punditry from Carragher interesting at half time as well, because he was saying like the lino who had the best view of everybody just kind of daydreamed and gave a throw in, and the referee, who was miles away, just thought that it was first instinct to grab the red card. I actually do think they got it right, but again, if you've asked me if it had happened down the other end of the pitch, I would have probably probably leant the other way.
It's one of those fine decisions, isn't it? Whereas if it was against Villa, you'd have gone, I'm gutted by that, but it's gone for us and we've won. And honestly, we couldn't care less, to be honest, along with the rest of the Villa fans watching this. Can I just, in this brief moment, get you to mute whatever that is keeps pinging off? Is it your WhatsApp?
Is it your phone?
No, is it your WhatsApp on your laptop? It's very annoying. I don't know, it's annoying. You're too popular. I'm interested to see what you thought, if you can still hear me, of what you thought of the penalty against us as well. Because on first viewing, I was like, yes, penalty. And then the VAR watched it a lot. And I was like, actually, I'm not sure that was a penalty. And then they showed it again from the first, like the wide angle. And I was like, oh, yeah, it is a penalty.
It looked like a little bit of a kind of, it was a bit awkward and a bit clumsy, wasn't it? And I think whatever Target did, whether he caught him or not, did enough to impede him. And I mean, fancy, I think it's great. Imagine one of our centre halves being in that position to be fouled for a penalty. Although having said that, I think that penalty came about as a result of Mings pushing up, and then Konsa went to press high. But yeah, I think it probably was just about a penalty.
Yeah, I think both those decisions we just talked about, the red card and the penalty, are both correct, but I think are both quite harsh on both sides.
Yeah, well, it's nothing like compared to the controversy that happened the last time these two teams played, is it? So I think
I don't think anyone's mentioned it.
Yeah, it's a great save though, wasn't he?
Oh, excellent save. I think the line that I don't think they actually said, but you always hear with those kind of saves, is a great height for a goalkeeper. The ones that are just perfectly across from their body position, they can just dive straight over. They usually say, "Oh, it's a great height for a goalkeeper." There, I didn't say it this time, but it was a good save though.
I think it was a good height for a goalkeeper, but I think it was still far enough towards the corner to require a good save. And he reminds me of someone, facially, Martinez. I think he reminds me of, but you're going to say, Matt, you're blind. Do you know, is it Russell Kane, that kind of Cockney comedian?
Comedian?
Yeah.
Is it the jawline?
Just Google him. He looks a little bit like him. He looks a bit like him, crossed with Fonzie out of Happy Days, which is a reference long before your time. But he's got that. Google Russell Kane now, and I bet you.
Hang on a minute.
Everybody at home.
I'm going to screen share it because we've got that technology.
I don't, because it'll make people realise that it looks nothing like him.
Here we go. Can you see that? Does it look like him? I think it's the jawline, maybe.
There is a bit of it, isn't there? He's the one on the right.
Yeah, he looks more like the one on the right than the one on the left. Yeah, interesting. I mean, where else can you get this top quality insight? It looks a little bit like Russell Kane if you squint a little bit.
And I also established that Matty Cash is an anagram of Catty Mash. But
yeah, good. I saw that tweet. Not bad. There's a lot of people in the comments saying, "Yeah, he looks like him." Yeah, all right.
Yeah, if you think he looks like him, vote one.
A lot of people are saying, or I'll say a lot of people. One person said it looks a bit like Klitschko, the boxer. Which again, yeah, I can kind of see that.
You'll have to put a picture up, mate. I'm not.
Can't bothered. I know I'd rather have a goal anyway, and that's Emi Martinez. What do you think about the rest of his performance besides that penalty save?
Yeah, I thought he was decent. There was one time in the first half where he came through probably about 7 players to come and claim the ball.
He punched one, didn't he, just before that, I think?
Yeah, come and claimed an aerial ball. And I think, was it Hurahan who played a hospital ball into him within the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
And he just kind of dealt with it and smiled rather than ranting back. So I thought he was good. I thought, it sounds really harsh, but would Neuland have he might have saved the pen actually because
that's probably one of his specialities. Well, not specialities, but he saved a couple.
But would he have been as commanding? I don't think he would have done really.
Would Wesley have scored when Watkins didn't? Would Wesley have been in the position to be chasing down that ball to get the defender sent off? It's a nothing point, is it really?
Yeah, we will never know, will we? We'll never know.
Exactly. What else have I written down in my notes? I'd put that Jack wasn't at his best, but we still win, and that there's a positive to be taken from there, that we don't have to rely on him being excellent to get anything now. But you thought he was okay anyway?
I thought he was decent. I thought he was trying to get involved. He had a couple of attempts, didn't he, that just whistled past the post, or there's that one towards the end that was just deflected over. So yeah, I thought he was fine. I think McGinn's the one for me because we need McGinn completely fit and firing in there. What do you do with him then? Do you have to take him out until he gets fit? Do we have the options to do that, or do you just have to keep playing him and hope that we don't kind of, it's not to our detriment that we've got a non-fit McGinn in there? I think we've got back to the same dilemma as last year, haven't we? Where I think even a McGinn playing his way back into form and fitness tends to be a better option.
Yeah.
What else we've got potentially? I know we spoke, didn't we, last week about probably still needing another player, whether it's another winger so that Jack Grealish can drop deeper and affect from midfield, or whether it's another central midfielder. I don't know. I mean, because again, you get back to that dilemma of you leave McGinn out, and you're talking what, Nakamba again, really, being the next in line.
Yeah, I mean, Nakamba, Douglas Luiz, Harahan suddenly looks a lot worse, doesn't it? as a midfield trio.
I think so. He's probably. Listen, he's not been at his best, and Villa have won the game. So perhaps Villa can try and play his way back into fitness. I don't think he looked sluggish in terms of, I think he was trying to cover ground, but I just don't think it was quite happening.
Do you think that's because we've got such high standards for John McGinn now that we recognise when he isn't at that level more often?
Probably, yeah, I think so. And I think it's been, we're talking, when did he get injured? Boxing Day or something, or late December?
I think so. It's not against Norwich, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, so it's been 9 months since we've seen the best of him.
Yeah,
but that's a minor footnote for me. Like I say, I thought we might come unstuck tonight. I thought we might, typical Aston Villa, like you tweeted about Burton scoring after 30 seconds or a minute or whatever it was the other day. Everybody's buzzing at the signings and Jack signing a new contract. I thought that we were going to have the optimism swept from under us again. So I'll take any points any way we can at the moment because, I've gone blank. Then points weren't easy to come by, were they? And we need to try and get that buffer as soon as possible. And Sheffield United at home is a winnable game, so we've got to actually, you said, didn't you? They flagged up the bloody graphic, how many times Villa have conceded leads and stuff like that. And let's hope we see the end of those graphics. But I thought it was a more streetwise performance in places, even if it's just John McGinn using his backside to kind of shield the ball in the closing edges of the game. And as much as we want to see that little dollop of quality, which we hope the new signings will bring over time, we also wanted Villa to be a little bit more kind of, like I say, streetwise and find ways of winning games. And if you have to run down the clock to win a game 1-0 against 10 men, then so be it. Could be the 3 points that makes us go from 17th to 16th or 16th to 15th or whatever we're dreaming of after that balmy win.
Well, yeah, if the 3 points come no matter what, don't they? It doesn't really matter how you get them at that stage. There's a couple of comments here that I think contrast each other, but I'm not sure reading them both now. For this one here, it says McGinn didn't get out of first gear, Louise didn't get out of first gear, Horham maybe in second gear, and we still won. How can we not all see the positives in that game, having got 3 points? And then further down, this is kind of the same point actually. For the first time in ages, I thought we were in control and I wasn't too worried. I suppose maybe that is the... then someone else says Louise was our best player. It's weird, isn't it? Everyone's got different opinions when we watch games, which is the beauty of football, I guess. But I don't know. Part of me looks at it and thinks we weren't great. We won. There's obviously some positives there because we don't have to be amazing to get 3 points now. But I also look at it and think, well, could we have been better? Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think our mate Alan Smith again was saying, wasn't he, after half an hour, if there was a crowd here, they'd be getting frustrated. And I think he was probably right in that sense, because when you are against 10 men, it's really easy to get tempted to try and kind of force the issue too much. I thought Villa showed the right level of patience.
Patience is a good word.
The goal came at a good time, and it relied on a set piece. But I'm really, really pleased. And you're not
you're making it out like I'm really negative. I am very pleased with that 3 points. I just think I look at the potential maybe of this side and think, if we can not be great there and still win, maybe we can have a good season this year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were climbing the table before we even played a game. So to add 3 points of our own, what does the table look like now? Have you got one in front of you?
I'm just typing it in now, mate. It's perfect time. It really is. It's like we're on this great synergy together. We're in 9th at the moment. Let's get it up on screen so everyone else can see it. Premier League table, share. There we go. Can we see that? We can see that just about. So Leicester are top. They've won both. Yeah, we're 9th. 1 game played, 1 win. Lovely stuff. Not bad, is it, that?
Unbeaten.
Yeah. What's the comment saying? What do you think of Matty Cash? That's a question someone's just asked. What do you think of Matty Cash's performance? Because there was a few fans after the Man United friendly going, I'm not sure about Matty Cash. That's a friendly, come on.
I think like the fact that he's an athlete and he's a big lad. Anybody can he's still pretty mobile. I thought some of his deliveries were brilliant. The whip that he tried to put into them, a couple of passes and stuff that went astray, but didn't look out. I know it's Sheffield United, it's one game, but didn't look out of place as a Premier League player. He was as good, if not better, than his fellow Matty on the other flank. I thought so. I thought he was decent. So what did we have tonight? 3 debutants in him, Martinez and Watkins in terms of Premier League. Premier League debutants for Villa. Yeah, probably give the goalie an 8 or 9. He did what he had to do, but wasn't really tested massively other than the penalty. Give Cash a 7. I don't think he did a great deal wrong. And I'd probably give Watkins a 7 as well, because I don't think he did a great deal wrong, really. I thought he looked energetic, he looked keen. What I like about him, and I don't want to judge him as against Wesley. Wesley's not got a right to reply, being as he's been crocked for however long, 9 months, and might be out for another couple. But I think Watkins, because he's kind of a winger come centre forward, when he drifts to get involved, he tends to drift to the channels, where when Wesley was drifting to get involved, he was having to come back to the halfway line centrally. And, it's a very narrow sample. It's hard to judge on the basis of a few friendlies and a couple of games. But I think Watkins, I think he's probably a bit faster and more mobile than Wesley. Well, again, he will be at the moment because Wesley's been on crutches for the last 9 months. I thought the newcomers were fine. I think it's just kind of reinforced the questions that we've had all along, in terms of what we were saying earlier. Trezeguet, so, but you don't want to rely on him starting for Villa every week. You mind him coming off the bench, and you should imagine that he won't be starting much longer, with respect to the lad. I'm sure he's not watching. You never know. And that, if you're watching, leave a comment, please. Yeah, don't do it in Egyptian. And the midfielder, I still think we like him there. Me and James spoke about this pre-game. I think actually we might have even spoke about it on the one that we did at mine last week. I still think I'd rather have a second winger and put Grealish in the middle. To be honest, I think McGinn, Louise, Grealish is the best midfielder we could find at the moment. I don't think you'll go out and find a better midfielder than you would slot into that three, whereas you could find a better winger, I think. Yeah, ask the audience. Ask them which midfielder we should sign. Oh, I don't know any specific names. Yeah, well, that's one of those, isn't it? You either do recruit out wide again, and you have Traore, Watkins, new winger, and Jack Grealish moves back centrally, or you keep Jack out wide and you need to find a midfielder, but I don't know who that midfielder is that would offer more than Jack Grealish would back in the centre. Yeah, let's say if the transfer window shut tomorrow rather than next month, how disappointed would you be, or would you be quite pleased? I mean, I said to somebody, I tweeted the other day that I'm kind of working on a piece of how Villa's transfer window's gone, but I'm not going to publish it till next May. And it's a bit like that, isn't it? We're all kind of buzzing about the spending spree last summer because of some of these exotic names, and then over time we kind of revised our thoughts, didn't we, on them? But if the window shut tomorrow, would you think that? Do you think the only areas where we're light is that midfield winger dilemma, and perhaps cover at left back, cover at centre half? I don't know. Yeah, with me and James. I don't know whether you watched the one earlier. Probably didn't. We spoke a lot about. Yeah, who does watch these? We spoke a lot about the centre back partnership, and whether I think if you were going to go centre back, you're going to go after somebody experienced, a 32-year-old to play alongside Mings. But in my view, I think you stick with Konsa and Mings as a duo and let them grow together is what I would do. So the cover at centre back, if one of Halls or Engels leaves, yes, not. But I think if you're looking to improve that starting centre back, you're going to have to spend a lot of money, and I don't see that as a priority. Cover at left back would be nice, but again, I think you could get by with Target and Taylor for a season, barring that Target didn't get injured. I think the only one I'd be disappointed about is
a midfielder or a winger, one of those two. I don't think you need a midfielder and a winger. I think you only need one of those now. Ideally, yes, you prefer both. But I think if you could only sign one, it's a midfielder or a winger. I'd be gutted about not having, and possibly another striker as well. So still a little bit of work to do. Yeah, I was going to say still a little bit of work to do ideally, but yeah, I think we've fixed the big positions, haven't we? But we are a little bit light in terms of if we got an injury up front. Yeah, I'd be concerned then.
Have you lost some more weight, Dan?
Have I lost weight?
Yeah, because I look like unless I'm framed differently, I look like I'm twice as wide as you. Is that real life?
You sat like this, that's all right. You need to sit in a little. No, I think I've gained weight since the last time we spoke.
You look quite slender, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you very much.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'll take all the compliments I can get. They say the camera adds £10, but maybe not. All the comments from midfielders, a few people saying Ross Barkley. Mark Sheridan says Mark Draper. I don't think he'd be that great these days. Dele Alli. There's a few calls for Dele Alli earlier on the one we did earlier. I don't see Dele Alli dropping down to Villa, to be honest. When there's talk of Real Madrid. Yeah, if you want to say it that way. Yeah, Buendia from Norwich. Yeah, he'd be quite nice. Rico Henry at left back. Lingard. Yeah, we spoke about Lingard earlier. What do you think about someone like Jesse Lingard?
I think he gets an unfair press for me.
This is what I said earlier.
I think he's better than people give him credit for.
He's a meme, isn't he?
He is. I think that's what he is. I think he's become a figure of fun now, where I think it's a bit unfair on him because, I'd have him in that team, because we. Would you not? I know you want Jack as the 10, so I know you're not going to be persuaded otherwise, but.
Lingard's a weird one. Again, me and Janice spoke about this earlier, so I'm at risk of repeating myself at this stage. But because he's that bit of become a little bit of a joke player online, isn't it? Really, the social media side of it. I said the same with Chris Smalling and Phil Jones and people like that. Players that have got a reputation for being a bit of a joke because they play at such a big club and haven't performed for a number of years when they were good players. When Phil Jones got his move to Man United, he was a good player at Blackburn. But because they've been a bit of a joke for so long, if you sign Jesse Lingard for 20-25 million, everyone will be going, everyone outside of Villa fans and Villa fans as well would be saying, oh, what a weird move that is. Villa have overspent on this Man United flop. But he could come in and be really good because
I'd try and take him on loan, to be honest. I wouldn't if there was a fee involved, I wouldn't bother.
It's just it's a really weird one. Again, Ross Barkley to a much lesser extent, but just been around Chelsea for a bit and not done anything. It's like, I don't know if you'd spend big money on names like that, really.
Don't think you do spend money on them. I think if you're going to try and rehabilitate them. Yeah, if you're going to try and rehabilitate them as a footballer, I think you've got to. It's a big gamble to take. I think you've got to try and do it on loan, and I don't think those players will be available on loan.
Yeah, why would Man United loan Lingard? What do they get out of that? Just running down his contract.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, the biggest thing for me before the window shuts, and it's not quite the consideration now. The kind of spectre of FFP has not got us by has not grasped us by the knackers. Can I say that?
I was wondering what you were going to go with them, but knackers is perfectly fine.
Not grasped us by the knackers as much as it has in recent years. I still do think Villa are carrying a little bit of fat in terms of the squad. Bless poor Henry Lansbury. We were trying to loan him out to Halso in town last week. But
on the podcast, not in real life.
Yeah, not Villa. I can't see him getting involved. How many right backs have Villa got now? If Matty Cash is your man, you've got Elmo, Gilbert. Is there anybody else? Perhaps not. Perhaps we're not too overloaded there. It's this thing again, isn't it? Trezeguet. We're talking about Trezeguet and El Ghazi and Hotter. It is Hotter, isn't it? It is Hotter.
If you want.
Always get confused about it. I still think there's some areas where Villa can trim. So I'd like to see that addressed, even if it's kind of a couple of them going out on loan a little bit as well. But I think it's a pretty positive start. That I think Villa 9th.
Take it, don't you? Game in hand.
Well, yeah, it's been a few years. I mean, you'd probably have to scroll back a few years to find out when Villa were ninth. I know we're only one game in, so let's not get carried away. But you'd have to scroll back a fair few years to find Villa in ninth position. Clean sheet, goal scored, still another new signing to be introduced. Onwards and upwards.
Yeah, you've wrapped it up nicely there, and we could end it. But there's just one name that's piqued my interest in the comments. That is the first person that said it. And the last time I heard this name was on the a Wolves video that we did at work the other day. Oxlade-Chamberlain is an interesting shout. I think he's probably, on paper, he's probably now surplus to requirements at Liverpool. But I don't know how much you have to pay for someone like him. He used to play out wide, didn't he, back in the day before he got moved centrally? I don't know whether you could still do a job out wide if he had to. But I think he'd be a great sign.
Probably a little bit fragile injury-wise.
Yeah.
And I
big wages as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether Jota going there makes him available. I don't know. I got the sense he's probably thinks a bit more big time than Villa.
Maybe. We don't know, do we? Have you met Mr. Oxlade-Chamberlain? Is that a personality trait?
I haven't, but I suppose that he could do a Martinez anyway. And Martinez has shown that Villa is a club that's worth joining. Jack Grealish has shown that Villa's a club worth being at. So, again, I don't think Villa will splash out really big money on something that represents a gamble in terms of, I don't think they're going to veer too far away from this, buy players on the way up to try and get some kind of sell-on value out of them or to give them a long contract.
Yeah,
I think it'd be strange for Villa to rip that up.
But if a player comes available, like I said about Martinez, of that quality and that standard, do you have to kind of rip up the blueprint a little bit?
I think so, but Martinez is a goalkeeper. So what's Martinez? 28.
Yeah,
I think it's different signing. Did they give him a 5-year deal or a 4-year deal? It's different signing a goalkeeper on that length contract than it is to sign an outfield player.
He's only 27 though. Outside.
Yeah, I don't think Villa will go for a name like that.
No, I don't either. It's only one that's came up in the comments. And I said when we did a Wolves podcast the other day, and those guys were talking about him. And I think if a club like Wolves, in the position they've got into in the last couple of years, are looking at him and he's available, then he's probably more likely to choose Wolves than Villa. But decent name, good suggestion there from whoever that was.
Can I tell my story about Jack Grealish's dog?
Yes, if you want. Do I know this?
Yeah, I told you the other day the story behind why he took his dog to sign the contract. I think this is unless he's already shared this story himself on Instagram. I think this could be a world exclusive. We're not going to use the photo of it because we'll probably get invoice 400 quid to use it.
You just have to imagine it was Jack Grealish with a dog when he's got his contract signing. It was just like that.
Yeah, I'm sure people have seen it. Check out Jack Grealish's Instagram if you haven't. There's a plug. But apparently, it transpires that the reason that Jack Grealish, his dog, was at the signing was.
Whoa. Everyone's on 10 talks here, I'm telling you.
He just had the dog. He just had the puppy for his birthday. The puppy is called Harry, I believe. And I think he got a bad ear. I think the dog. So Harry the dog had got a bad ear. So Jack had to go to Bodymore to sign his contract. He thought he'd kill two birds with one stone, or save one dog with one trick. And he had to take him to the vets afterwards. So there he was. They got him on the pictures. So I'm telling you, people think that I'm not as connected as I used to be in terms of getting stories and stuff like that. But I'd like to see John Percy get that one.
I mean, you might not be able to say, but who did you hear that off?
Say it again.
You might not be able to say, but where did you get that story from?
I've talked to the animals, mate. It was Harry the dog.
Is it your imagination?
That is true. I'm not giving away my sources. It's true. It's a genuine story. So,
you can tell me. Yes. For those that didn't see our pre-match live stream before, Matt, you don't really know about this because we haven't really talked to you about it. So consider this a production meeting for you. We are introducing a second show onto the podcast where we'll be talking about stats and analytics. Don't worry, Matt. We're not on it. We don't have to pretend to know what XG means and all these different things. James is doing it with guests, which I'll tell you about this afterwards. We talked about it earlier, but I know that most people won't have seen our pre-match show. But, often people say, oh, you don't talk about football enough, you and Matt. So we're going to carry on doing what we always do, where we talk about dogs, vets, and what was his name? Russell Kane. And James and someone who actually knows something about football are also going to talk about the actual football match as well in the 90 minutes. So you'll get 2 episodes from us about the games and the latest from Villa. So we'll be here talking our usual nonsense every week, but we'll actually be talking football on Claret and Blue this season. So stay tuned for that.
I wish you'd have spoken to me about this in advance. That goes against everything I believe in.
That's why you're not on it, mate. I'm not going to make you sign up for something you don't want to do, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know what things are. So, we're going to let James have his little podcast baby this season and see how that goes.
Thank God for that. What, are we done?
We're done, yeah. So, we can get out of here. So, hopefully, we're going to try and launch that this week, but we are trying to get it off the ground with a guest. Dan Bates has just asked, do you think it was a red card? Yes, we do. Just rewind about half an hour. I've got my phone. So, yes, let's call it a day. Thank you very much for the 350 plus people that are still here watching Absolute Madness at 8:30 on a Monday. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. For those that didn't catch us live, we'll be live on Facebook after every Aston Villa Premier League game this season. Me and Matt, like I say, here to talk our usual nonsense. If you're here watching live, we also post on YouTube and all the different podcast providers. You can just search Claret and Blue and you should find us. Our logo looks like this. Wrong side again. I did that earlier. It looks like this up here. So it's hard, isn't it, when you can see yourself? You always go the wrong way. So search Claret and Blue. You can find all our podcast stuff there. Follow us on Twitter at Claret Blue Pod. We're running a competition at the moment to win a print. This print, actually, a bespoke custom design. So head over to our Twitter at Claret Blue Pod to get involved with that as well. Thanks, Matt, for joining me. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. 3 points in the bag, and we will see you next time.
Nice one.